Listen. So this movie starts with an Oscar Wilde quote, which I thought was so ironic considering what it says. But while a lot of people are talking about Liam Neeson's for other reasons, I'm still here calling out the fact that this man makes the same movie every year, just in a different setting. Now, I came out of this thinking it was an okay rented, but what really baffled me was that I had no idea this was being pitched as a dark comedy. Let me explain. So Cold Pursuit is actually a remake of a Norwegian film titled In Order of Disappearance, and before the same group comes out complaining about remakes, it's actually directed by the same guy who made the original, so he pretty much came in and pulled the funny games and wanted the job done himself. Personally, I think the original is better, partly because of the acting, but I also think the humor works better in the original language and setting. Both movies revolve around a snowplow driver seeking revenge after his son was offed by a local drug kingpin on accident because his buddy was the one who was scraping from the top. But like I said, this thing is a low-key comedy.
He's dead.
There's this bit at the morgue that was done for comedic effect before I even knew it was supposed to be one. It's making fun of stereotypes in the movie by having characters say their roles within the thriller, like I am the messenger. A hotel receptionist tells the Native Americans they need a reservation. The film is broken down into deaths, which I thought was pretty cool, and they're sometimes done for comedic effect, but the best one is done after the final shootout, where it just shows everyone's name on the screen. Even the credits appear in order of disappearance, since, that's the name of the original. There's a flip on the henchman storyline, as these two have a secret relationship and want to run away together before they get screwed from behind. Let the Indian do it is a line that comes from a Native American towards a Middle Eastern employee. But my favorite part, out of all of them, that actually made me laugh the most, was when the wife stops the drug lord from slapping her. Let me explain. Have y'all ever seen those clips where someone sets up for a slap and somehow the slappee doesn't see it coming? Like, they'll be winding up like hot damn Johnny Cueto and still won't move out of the way? Like, there's so much time for this person to duck out. I can make a cup of tea during this setup, and yet somehow they always get slapped. Well, this movie finally catches them mid-slap. Anyways, in this dark comedy, Liam Neeson is about to commit suicide after his son's death when he decides to pick up his coach and starts taking down the gang one by one. Laura Dern's also in the movie as his wife, but I guess she's subscribed to The Independent and she dips out like really early in this movie, but the way she leaves is bogus. Like, she leaves behind a card that's completely blank. Like, how they say that thieves leaving something in your house is worse than actually taking something because then it just messes with your psyche and you're wondering why? Well, this lady left a blank card. Liam doesn't even think twice about it and just continues to walk the streets looking for the right man to kill until he realizes who the kingpin is. Brendan Urie 2.0. Now, this guy is a straight cartoon, no offense to me, because whenever there's a panic at 9 in the afternoon, he's flipping out for every single reason. His ex-wife is the one who slaps him back when he's tweaking about his kid. He's walking around like the human version of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. He starts a war with the Native American cartel like a buffoon, and he just continues to prove that even in drug circles, there's nepotism. Amy Rossum also plays a police officer in this movie who spends most of it just shamelessly tweaking over the most minuscule things while there's an actual drug war going on. When they finally realize it, they just show up for cleanup duties. Typical. Several disappearances later, and Liam decides to kidnap Brendan Urie's kid to really get with him, and the kid just suffers from Stockholm Syndrome real quick. Even though Liam's trying to bait the gang into a trap, he instead gets captured faster than he gets canceled, and it just completely ruins everything. Luckily, the Native American gang gets the location tip. There's a massive shootout at this place, only these two survive, and the cleanup crew shows up to clear the bodies as my theory that Officer Gipp being an inside man the whole time gets carried away with them. But what about
Liam Neeson's in it?
Liam Neeson is my
Now, one of the big lines in the movie is the kingpin telling his son to hit his bully's back, and the kid goes, "No, because then I'll be just as bad as them." And I thought that was interesting. I also thought that the Native American reservation bit was funny because the second joke that comes up in there is one of the crew members saying that they could ruin the hotel just by talking bad about them online through a Yelp review. So while I'm sure most have made up their minds on the Neeson interview, and I'm no one but a cartoon, since people have asked me, and since it goes very well with this video or movie about revenge, I'd figured I'd give my thoughts for those who made it this far into this specific video. Neeson was wrong. I don't think anyone is defending what he admitted to, because the idea that you could just be strolling down the street and then Schindler comes out of nowhere and Jason Todd's you is sickening. That mentality that you want to blame a whole group of people for a crime, which, mind you, everyone keeps forgetting that someone got raped in this scenario and I don't think there was justice, is disgusting. It's something that needs to be seen as a disease and confessed upon, because in order to change, everyone knows that admitting is the first step. But then, when people do that, this happens. It is always interesting how outlets wait till the release of the movie so that their story can get more traction. And, I get that that's the point of it. That's how posting works. But what's really interesting is how they decide to spin it, what they decide to keep in, and what they decide to omit if it makes them look bad.
So, but that's, primal need, I understand.
You can relate to that.
Hey, enjoy the limelight, do the rounds, forget that he said this.
It was horrible when I think back, but I did that, and I've never admitted that to it. I'm saying it to a journalist, God forbid.
Holy shit.
It's awful. But I did learn a lesson from it.
And then instead of going after actual supremacists who are legit hurting people, you focus on making this your headline. An interview that you could have spun as a lesson, but instead, for some reason, made a hit piece. Because in all honesty, I think the biggest takeaway of all this is being careful where you disclose things.
Most of it is treated the way it is because of how he told the story and where he told the story. I think if Liam Neeson had told that story on Oprah, and there was like a conversation, we would have seen it as a person admitting to a time in their life when they allowed their anger and hatred to fester into a racism that they're ashamed of.
Remember when that Chipotle incident happened and everyone wanted to cancel her? And then, this isn't even an opinion, it literally got flipped around. Chipotle had to come out and retract their statement and apologize for listening to Twitter that fast because these scumbags had a criminal past by doing this all the time. Some people have still yet to delete their original tweets. Remember when the Washington incident happened and everyone was claiming they heard things being shouted in a video? To this day, no one can pull up that video. And it even got to the point that people had to redo their statements. And yet still, some have kept their original tweets. So what I'm asking as a cartoon is, if we're all seeing everyone run down the same path that has black ice on it and they're slipping, why are we still so quick to run down the same path? I'm not saying you have to forgive Liam Neeson, because if he would have done that, he would have been in jail, and rightfully so. And I personally don't care about Liam Neeson or any celebrities, because if I don't know them, there's no reason for me to defend them. But when you get a scenario like Terry Crews coming out and trying to make a point that he sees Liam's confession as progress, a progress that should be spread, and that he sees Neeson's career as that of a person who's out there trying to make a change, and then Twitter tells Terry that's why he got raped? Bruh, how do you cancel culture? But me, you're just being complacent. What's your resolution? Y'all ever seen Aaron Brockovich? That. Actually actively getting involved is a part of the solution. Not reacting to whatever's on the trending page from the comfort of your own home on your smartphone because you yourself want to go trending. I don't know Liam Neeson, and I'm very big, again, I'm not defending a person I don't personally know. But if I'm judging the situation, it sucks that this is just going to internalize a lot of guilt in people because they're afraid they're going to get chastised and thus never seek the help or guidance they need to make a change. But hey, The Independent got its clicks.
I think that the internet is a mob mentality and instant gratification mentality. And people, we talk about how we're trying to be better people, how the internet's trying to make better people because we connect the world. And then we see something we don't like and we get pissed off and we want to destroy it right there on the spot. And he didn't even do anything.
Yeah, he just thought
he
about it.
He had thoughts and he said, I feel bad about it and I don't want to be that. He sounded like he didn't want to be that person, So I don't know. Until something else comes out, man, we got to learn to forgive. This was years ago.
Yeah, and if he hasn't or is not doing it now, he should go to therapy. Because, like I said, listen to tell that story, man. For him, that happened yesterday.
That is racism that you have. The fact that you think you could just go out and kill a black man, and you're going to kill any black man for what a black man might have done, is a form of racism. Because you're going, the whole race should be condemned. So you should be able to accept and be like, yes, I was thinking a racist thought. But a lot of the time, I find people are afraid to admit that they ever had a racist thought because then society says you are racist forever and then that's it. So there's no value in atoning, I guess, And he keeps going out and giving more interviews that make it worse. I'm like, why do you, the things that he says, I'm just like, clearly your particular set of skills doesn't include shutting the up.
I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. These were just some of the videos. I'm aware it goes both ways, but I personally see it as a scenario where people took it out of hand in order to be able to chastise somebody when the person came out and was chastising themselves. I'm curious to know your thoughts about the scenario, about the movie. I think that they're completely correlated. I always get those comments where someone goes, you didn't completely talk about the movie or this. They're hand in hand. So I'm curious to know your thoughts on it, considering that the movie's about revenge. It's crazy to see where all this has gone. Cancel culture tries to cancel someone every week until they themselves get canceled, so it's a very interesting scenario. But I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or I will find you.